The morning felt peaceful, quiet, and steady, until I opened my front door and saw an unfamiliar SUV parked sideways across my driveway. Two men stood beside it, dressed in mismatched uniforms, trying their hardest to look official. Their badges glimmered in the sun, but something about them felt off. When I approached, one stepped forward and announced, "Sir, you're restricted from leaving the property until you clear your outstanding HOA fine of $100. His tone was stern, but his hands trembled. I looked from the SUV to their makeshift uniforms and realized exactly what they were: HOA volunteers pretending to be law enforcement. The decals on their vehicle were magnetic, the gear on their belts didn't match, even the patches on their shirts were stitched on crooked. They truly believed they had authority. I asked who sent them, and they proudly said the HOA president had activated the neighborhood security team to enforce compliance. They said they had the right to block my driveway and keep me from leaving. They spoke with confidence, unaware of the one fact that mattered most: I am the actual chief of police for the county. I didn't argue, I didn't raise my voice, I simply pulled out my real badge. Their expressions collapsed instantly. One stepped back. The other whispered something under his breath, suddenly realizing the weight of what they had done. I explained calmly that impersonating an officer is a serious crime, and blocking a resident's driveway under false authority is even worse. Still shaking, they tried to insist it was all harmless, just a way to get people to follow HOA rules. But the law doesn't bend for pretend uniforms or borrowed courage. I called dispatch and requested units. When real officers arrived, the scene changed quickly. The fake uniforms were removed. Their SUV was checked and impounded. They were detained, not with anger, but with the professionalism they had attempted to copy. Moments later, the HOA president rushed over, out of breath and full of excuses. She claimed it was a misunderstanding, that she only wanted them to remind me about the fine. But the printed instructions they carried, the messages on their phones, and the guidelines she'd handed them made the truth clear. This wasn't an accident, it was an attempt to intimidate. The investigation that followed spread far beyond that morning. The HOA faced fines, legal consequences, and mandatory policy changes. All of this over a simple $100 they claimed I owed, one I never truly owed at all. As I watched the officers drive away, the neighborhood finally returned to its quiet morning calm. And I couldn't help but think, they could have just sent a letter. Instead, they tried to act like police. And they did it in front of the one person they should never have pretended for: the real chief of police.